Israel wanted to be like all the other nations. And God
Mm-hmm.
is like, I wanted to separate you from all the other nations. And they're like, no, we want a king. We want a king now, right? And he was like, yeah, but if I give you a king, he's gonna he's gonna do this. He's gonna take this. He's gonna, there's gonna be this type of corruption. And I'm gonna go through some of them real quick because I have it
Sure.
right in front of me. When Samuel grew old, he appointed his sons as Israel's leaders. The name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second was Abihai, and they served at Beersheba. But his sons did not follow his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain and accepted bribes and preferred justice. So all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah. They said to him, "You are old, and your sons do not follow your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have." So they wanted somebody like all the other nations. But when they said, "Give us a king to lead us," this displeased Samuel. So he prayed to the Lord, and the Lord told him, "Listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you they have rejected, but they have rejected me as their king."
Mm.
Right? As they have done from the day I brought them out of Egypt unto this day, forsaking me and serving other gods, so they are doing to you. Now listen to them, but warn them solemnly, and let them know what the king who will reign over them will claim as his rights. So, do you want me to get into the rights?
Yeah, let's do it.
So Samuel told all the words of the Lord to the people who were asking him for a king. He said, "This is what the king who will reign over you will claim as his rights. He will take your sons and make them serve with his chariots and horses, and they will run in front of his chariots. Some he will assign to be commanders of thousands and commanders of 50, and others to plow his ground and reap his harvest, and still others to make weapons of war and equipment for his chariots. He will take your daughters to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. He will take the best of your fields and vineyards and olive groves and give them to his attendants. He will take a tenth of your grain and of your vintage and give it to his officials and attendants, your male and female servants, and the best of your cattle. And the donkeys he will take for his own use. He will take a tenth of your flocks, and you yourselves will become his slaves. When that day comes, you will cry out for relief from the king you have chosen, but the Lord will not answer you in that day." And so I found this because I think a lot of pastors and prophets, they're like, we got to follow the law of the land. Politics is super important.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place for it, like, because there's believers who are in politics, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
ultimately, with it being a world system, which I believe is Babylon, it's the Babylonian system. Um, we're sitting here, and this is whether you're on the Kamala side or the Trump side, we're sitting here asking for a king. We're believing that this king is going to change everything.
Right.
When God Himself said, "Babylon will fall, and my children will know my voice," right? And I don't think as evangelicals as a country that we are understanding that these people are not going to save us. So I heard pastors saying, like, vote righteousness. And I'm like, well, I don't see righteousness on either side,
Mm-hmm.
right? Vote biblical. I see some biblical on both sides, some things, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things no. Um, but then afterwards, you hear pastors saying, um, "Well, we don't serve political party. It doesn't matter which side wins." And I don't feel like it would have been that way if the other side won, or the other side would have been saying the same thing, right? And so I think they're trying to put a lot towards biblical things, when if we really went off biblical things, the conversation might be different.